I'm Yuta, and today I'll be refuting the claim that the Planned Parenthood organization is beneficial for the community. First off, there really isn't any argument that any of the services that they provide aren't beneficial to the community, because it is a clinic that provides things like birth control, contraceptives, and information resources regarding like children and having a child. However, they do widely offer abortion services, which could be a possible disadvantage for the community, but the arguer did not touch on that, so I can't really use that to deny his or her claim. Without leading the argument somewhere else that I don't want to bring it to. So I'll be challenging their evidence and reasoning to show you that their claim of fact was weakly supported. The arguer used 3 supporting claims to support their claim that the Planned Parenthood is beneficial for the community. 1, it allows women to be empowered. 2, it keeps the overall community's health safe. And 3, it ensures the well-being for the future society. So the first claim that it allows women to be empowered. She says that easy and free access allows women to be more comfortable asking for birth control and for it to be used by more women. And she supports this with a statistic that teenage pregnancy has dropped 51% according to Planned Parenthood. There's no refuting that easy and free access allows more women to be more comfortable asking for birth control. However, that 51% statistic was actually calculated over a 40-year time span. And how much Planned Parenthood actually contributed to that is yet to be known. She also says that women can focus on other things such as work and education, and that 30% more women are going to college. She makes a sweeping generalization here, and the connection between Planned Parenthood and the percentage of which more women are going to college is a bit of a stretch. And again, how much Planned Parenthood's services actually have an impact on this statistic is yet to be known. The arguer reasons that because Planned Parenthood are offering these kinds of services to women, that they are more empowered. However, women are empowered either way, with or without Planned Parenthood, because there are other clinics that offer the same services. And her second claim, which is that Planned Parenthood keeps the overall community's health safe. She gives several statistics, such as Planned Parenthood gives over 4 million STD exams per year, and that 10% of all Planned Parenthood visits are dedicated to cancer screenings. She also says that some centers even offer anemia, diabetes, and cholesterol testing services. And she warns that because these services exist, the health of our community is much safer. There is no argument that these are beneficial to the society and their health. However, you can't imply that Planned Parenthood is the only clinic that offers these kind of benefits. According to data retrieved from the Kaiser Family Foundation, there are 4,084 health clinics in the United States in 2015. And according to Planned Parenthood, they say that they have approximately 700 health centers throughout the United States. That is only 17% of all health clinics. So you can see that Planned Parenthood themselves has minimal impact in terms of some of the statistics that the arguer gave, such as the 51% drop in teen pregnancy and the 30% more women going to college. And to her third supporting claim that Planned Parenthood ensures the well-being of our future society, she says that children conceived with parents that at Planned Parenthood who truly want them are 2 to 7% more likely to complete 16 or more years of school. She doesn't cite where she got this number from, and on top of that, this number is really small, so it's kind of insignificant. She warns that this fact leads to a strong future society. However, just because their parents truly want them doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be able to complete 16 or more years of school. There's limitations financially when it comes to college education, and that's not the only factor that can keep someone from going to college. She also supports this supporting claim by saying that women at Planned Parenthood now have more education about raising children than last year. And that last year, 65,000 parents went to Planned Parenthood to learn how to raise a family and protect their children. Again, she doesn't cite where she gets this number from in her argument. And to put this number into perspective, that's only 1.6% of the total number of pregnant women in the United States in 2013, according to the data collected by the CDC. It is kind of a stretch to say that because of all these things, it ensures that the well-being of our future society, because no one can really predict the behaviors of our future society. Overall, there are sweeping generalizations in our argument, uncited statistics, and warrants that are lacking in terms of reasoning, and a claim of fact that is kind of one-sided, because you can't really argue that Planned Parenthood isn't beneficial to the community. Hopefully I've convinced you all that the arguer's claim of fact was very weakly supported. Thank you.
All right, the structural stuff at the beginning is fine. I do think that you have a good general argument that says that this is a weak support for the proposition, and that you point out legitimately that there's some of this that is not really an argument. It simply describes, here are the benefits that Planned Parenthood provides, and nobody's going to say that those things aren't benefits. I think that that's a legitimate criticism. It doesn't meet the criteria of what an argument is here. The places where there is an argument have to do with the influence that Planned Parenthood has had on these kinds of things. The notion that empowerment, for instance, is a result of Planned Parenthood's presence is based on the idea that there's been a decrease in teen pregnancies, that we've had an increase in the number of women going to college, and Planned Parenthood has taken credit for that. And I think you have a good general challenge on this. What role did Planned Parenthood have on these sorts of things? You suggest that there's no documentation that shows what that is. You also mentioned that there are other clinics that offer the same kinds of activities or benefits or programs. I think you need to provide that evidence early on. Later on, you have some other information that applies to this, but it seems to me like since this is the first time you're making that argument, that's where that evidence ought to come up immediately. You get to the second point, and you talk about, again, some benefits that Planned Parenthood provides. Again, nobody says that STI screening or cancer screenings aren't really important, and that we don't need them, but I do think that you put it into perspective based on the number of health clinics there are, and Planned Parenthood represents only 17% of them. The notion that they do something that is unique or more significant is, I don't want to say it's laughable, but it certainly doesn't suggest that it's the substantial influence that the advocate is presenting here. And I thought that that was really a good challenge there. And then you kind of repeat the reasoning challenge that you have on the link to the 51% decrease and the college education thing. I think you want to keep harping on that, the notion that Planned Parenthood accounts for these things and ignores a whole variety of other factors that have happened over time. Excuse me. And then on the third point, you're kind of making the same argument because you suggest that there could be other reasons why people don't go to school or pursue some of these things. I think one of those things that you suggested would be an argument that the advocate would actually use for their side to say, oh yeah, because educational costs, but if you can do planning of your family, you can distribute the costs a little bit more effectively, and you don't have, if you only have 2 kids instead of 6 kids, then you can pay for college for 2 kids, or if you have 6 kids, you can send them all to work instead, and have them pay for one of the kids. Something like that. There's maybe a way to develop that argument a little bit more, but the better argument I thought was that when you talked about the education programs, the number of people who participated in the program is so small out of the number of pregnant women, the likelihood that it's going to have some kind of influence, I think, that's a good reasoning challenge on that point. So I thought that there were a lot of good reasoning challenges in the argument. You needed a little bit more evidence to make a couple of those points, and you did a good job summarizing the position that you're taking. All right, thank you.